going to be Sunday because of the rain that's going to be coming around on Saturday, and they've decided that they didn't want to bridge that gap and they didn't want to have to deal with the rain, so they've decided that they're going to move it back another day. Rutgers-Camden, they are going to be looking for vengeance here after their 16-6 win over Gwynedd Mercy on Tuesday. They're going to be rolling out one of their best starters on the hill. Ethan Carpenter is your Friday starter tonight, as the starting lineups for Penn State-Abington will be Daugherty, Philman, McGee, Montana, Millward, Barr, Fallers, Margot, Incalingo, Rollins with the pitcher Hahn, followed by Rutgers-Camden, Jacob Watson, Adam Aquilino, Augie Uzdanovich, Schaefer, Nutley, Salazar, then Evan Carbone, Vasquez, Giacomo Antonicello, and Ethan Carpenter, the starter on the hill for this one-game set here. We'll be right back. Penn State-Abington and Rutgers-Camden up next.
Batting first, number 2, the left fielder, Jake Watson. Batting second, number 1, the shortstop, Adam Aquilino. Batting third, number 14, the center fielder, Augie Buchanan. Batting fourth, number 24, the designated hitter, Steven Schaefer. Batting fifth, number 3, the third baseman, Ryan Nutley. Batting sixth, number 21, the first baseman, Diego Salazar. Batting seventh, number 48, the catcher, Evan Marveau. Batting eighth, number 7, the second baseman, Danny Vasquez. Batting ninth, number 11, the right fielder, Giacomo Antonicello. The starting pitcher, number 17, Ethan Carpenter. And assistant coaches, Pat Fisher, John Murph, Derek Smolinski, Andrew Young, Bill Calhoun, Christian Scatini, RJ McGettigan, and head coach, Ryan Coolidge. Now those who are able, please stand for your national anthem.
Well, there you have it. There's your 2024 Rutgers-Camden Scarlet Raptors as they have their first 9-inning game on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting and their second of the year. Ethan Carpenter tossed 6 innings versus Immaculata in the opening game of the season on Saturday, February 24th. And he will be still with Evan Carbone behind the plate in his second start of 2024. He was a beast in Game 1 where he had just an excellent 6-inning performance along with a handful of strikeouts, and as we said, no earned runs. The starting order for Penn State-Abington tonight, we're going to have a nice starting 9 and a nice mix of South Jersey and PA, starting off with the second baseman, Sean Doherty, the center fielder, Shane Philman of Whitehall, the third baseman, Josh McGee, the right fielder of Pittman, Montana Millward. It's going to be Josh Barr at the first base spot. Behind the plate is Jake Fallers of Wilmington, Delaware. Number 34, the designated hitter. That's Alex Margot of Collingswood, the lefty. And then number 27, Donato Incalingo, the center fielder. And closing it out, Eric Rollins, the right fielder, another Collingswood alum. That will be the order versus Penn State-Abington and Rutgers-Camden as the Nittany Lions off to an 0-3 start, looking to get a little vengeance, looking for their first win of the 2024 season. This is their first game of the year anywhere close to Pennsylvania. They were at the Diamond Invitational down in North Carolina to start the season, and this is the only game they will play up north before going down to Florida for the Russ Matt Central Florida Invitational. So the starting 9 for Rutgers-Camden getting ready to go as Ethan Carpenter gets his first looks at Penn State-Abington this afternoon. Start time a little bit later than Rutgers-Camden would have liked, 3:37 p.m. here on this brisk Friday afternoon. Wind blowing left to right, 52 degrees at first pitch here at the Camden Athletic Complex. The first one of the game is on the inside corner, 1-0, and we are underway to Doherty. It's Doherty, Philman, and McGee for the Nittany Lions in this first frame. Rutgers-Camden donning the red alternates this afternoon as a high chopper. That one is going to roll foul, and it's 1-1. Of course, with last night's festivities with Bishop Eustace and Gloucester Catholic, with Eustace, the 3 seed, taking down GC 40-35. That ends our 2024 basketball season. And now we can focus on baseball from now until the end of August. Carpenter delivers. Breaking ball foul. Oh, look out. That ball went through the netting and actually landed in the first row of the grandstands down there. 1-2. As we said, Carpenter threw 6 innings on Saturday, the 24th, versus Immaculata, and got the win, and also got our player of the game nod. There's a ground ball out to short, throw to first in time, and there's one away. Taken in by the shortstop, Adam Aquilino, and now we're going to see a penciled in at bat as we are going to see number 8, Philman, step in with a rather unusual bat. He shouldn't be wearing number 8, he should be wearing number 2. There's a strike. I've seen that a lot lately, especially in like travel baseball. I've never seen one used in a game. I mean, it's the same bat as you would use for any occasion. There's a fly ball to left. Sliding, did he get down with it? Yes, he did. Watson makes a sliding catch, and there's 2 away. So that pencil at bat gets erased, and there's 2 away for McGee. 2 quick outs for Carpenter. A ground out to short and a fly out to left on a sinking fly ball that was taken in by Watson. Here's McGee. First pitch. Outside, 1-0. Last time Rutgers-Camden took the field, it was a 16-6 win over Gwynedd Mercy, a game that we couldn't make because it got moved up. There's a strike, 1-1. People forget I'm still a senior in high school. I don't get out of classes until 1:43, so we had basketball playoffs that night anyway, but Rutgers-Camden did a great job, and Danny Vasquez hit a 2-run home run in the first inning as there's a ground ball out to third, playable by Nutley, ranging to his left, and a quick 1-2-3 frame for Ethan Carpenter with his infield backing him up. Rutgers-Camden gets their first look at the plate in the bottom of the first. We'll be right back. And we've got Rutgers-Camden coming up in the bottom of the first. First, let's talk about our starting pitcher this afternoon. It is going to be Ethan Hahn, the freshman out of Clearview Regional. Gave up 5 hits, struck out 3, walked 5, and gave up 3 earned runs. On February 23rd, last Friday, in his first career high school appearance, that would be versus Methodist. Out of Clearview Regional, the Mullica Hill native pitched 5 1/3 in his first collegiate appearance, and now he's going to be doing it again, and once again on the road. He will be facing a staunchly similar Rutgers-Camden lineup to what we saw on Tuesday. Jacob Watson in left field, Adam Aquilino at short, Olga Uzdanovich in center batting third, Steven Schaefer, the DH, at the cleanup spot, Ryan Nutley at third batting fifth, Diego Salazar at first batting sixth, Evan Carbone is the catcher batting seventh, Danny Vasquez at second base batting eighth, and Giacomo Antonicello rounding out the order with Ethan Carpenter on the hill. Strike one to Watson. As we said, this is Ethan Hahn's second career collegiate appearance. He appeared in the showcase down in North Carolina. Like we said, Penn State-Abington is going to have a lot of travel miles on their schedule as they came back 0-3 versus those teams down in North Carolina, and then they've got this game, and then they're leaving for Central Florida next week. I mean, so is Rutgers-Camden. You know, a lot of these teams from the north, they're like the snowbirds of baseball. They stay up here in the summer, and then they flock down to Florida during the winter. I guess you could call them snowbirds. Jake Watson with a high chopper throw is offline, and Watson is safe. Jacob Watson gets aboard on an infield single, and that gives Hahn some traffic to work with in the bottom of the first. Well, don't be surprised if Watson makes a run for it, you know. He's already more than halfway towards the all-time stolen base record for Rutgers-Camden here. The sophomore out of Delsey Regional. Throw over to first, nothing going on there. Watson, the major in health sciences. Stole 33 bases in 2023, is already up to 2 this year in the 3 games that Rutgers-Camden has played. Like we said, that throw got away on the pickoff attempt, but Watson held put. So no harm, no foul there on the miscue, but I believe 57 or 58 is the number for the all-time stolen base record of Rutgers-Camden, but there's a reason why he bats to where he is, and he's an effective hitter at getting on base. It's one thing if you can steal bases, but you have to get on base in order to do that, or else you turn into like a Terrence Gore pinch runner only kind of situation. But the fact that he can hit balls into the infield and the outfield, he can hit it to any part of the ballpark, and he finds creative ways to get on. Speaking of, here goes Watson rocketing down to second base. He's in there with his 3rd stolen base of 2024. He gets in there as it's a 2-0 count to to Adam Aquilino. Still with the early baseball jitters. I'm sure I'll get it right by May or April. It's still cold. Not as cold as it was last week, but could be better, could be a heck of a lot worse. 2-0 count to Aquilino. Outside, 3-0. So Watson picks up his 36th career and 3rd season stolen base as he gets the party started for Rutgers-Camden. 3-0 count from Hahn, and that's going to be a 4-pitch walk to Aquilino. Here's Uzdanovich. Augie Uzdanovich at the plate. Senior getting it started here with 2 runners on. You just got to think, if you're Ethan Hahn right here, that it's still early. You're facing the top of the order. And in baseball, there's so many there's so many ways to get out of a jam like this where, you know, in the rarest of circumstances, you get him out on one pitch with a round the horn triple play, but then there's some cases where you've got to work a lot harder for that. You've got to throw strikes efficiently. You know, a walk can throw a pitcher off his balance, but a 4-pitch walk really throws his pitcher off, especially when you're trying your best to paint the corner. But, you know, I always go back to that sign that's up at spring training in the Nationals bullpen down there in West Palm Beach. What they always say is, I don't care how fast you throw ball 4. And it's important for that to be said. Doesn't matter if you throw the ball 95 if you can't throw strikes. You know, I think Hahn has a good mix of control and velocity, but control comes before everything. You can't get batters to swing and miss if you don't put it in a place where you can swing. It's a 1-2 count to Uzdanovich. Is that yours? Steven Schaefer, the DH out of Burlington City, is due up next as the cleanup man for the Scarlet Raptors this afternoon. Hahn looks back a couple times. 1-2 outside, 2-2. He just tried to get him down with sheer force there on a fastball. It's the best you can do in this situation. You want to get a strikeout. You want to get your emotions up. You want to get your motivation and your blood pumping. But that is a slippery slope as Uzdanovich chases inside. And luckily for 14, he got a piece of it. Unfortunately, it also got a piece of Penn State's catcher, too. Foul ball there. Did get a piece of Fallers. The junior catcher, 5'10", out of Wilmington, Delaware, and Archmere Academy. But a big spot here for Hahn. Uzdanovich at the plate, 2-2 count, nobody out, and 2 runners on. Watson on second, Aquilino on first. 2-2. Fouled back. That one's headed to Delaware Ave. Don't forget, folks, we will be here at Rutgers-Camden on Sunday, March 3rd, for coverage of a doubleheader between the Rosemont Ravens and the Scarlet Raptors. Remember, it was supposed to be tomorrow, but it got moved back because of the impending inclement weather. We'll try it again, 2-2. Big fight here for Uzdanovich. He holds off, and the count runs full. Schaefer would be on deck. I mean, the time for Hahn to execute is right now. Best thing he can do here is just throw his best and see what he can get. That one popped way up. That's a good pitch for Hahn, and it is caught by Barr, 1 away. That's kind of like a sigh of relief if you're Penn State-Abington. You know, you never know what you're going to get in that situation where you've got 2 on and nobody out. And one of the Penn State-Abington coaches was just making sure that his catcher, Fallers, was okay. So here's Schaefer. As the Patco train runs behind him. First pitch, down, 1-0. Schaefer, the finance major and junior out of Edgewater Park from Burlington City High School. He appeared in 1 game this year, went 2 for 4 with a run scored versus Gwynedd Mercy on Tuesday. 1-0 pitch, Watson goes, both runners go from his knees, he got him! Watson got caught stealing on an excellent throw from the knees of Fallers, and he sends a runner falling to his knees. 2 down. That did count as a ball, so it is 2-0, but Watson is caught stealing over at third. Aquilino did successfully advance to second. Two balls, no strikes. Hahn delivers. Outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. 3-0. Way off my rocker tonight. My apologies, but only setting up a long weekend of baseball ahead. Of course, as Rutgers-Camden prepares for its final few out-of-conference games before they leave for Central Florida on March the 8th, Schaefer's going to take a 4-pitch walk, and he gets aboard to reoccupy that first base spot. 2 on, 2 out for Ryan Nutley. So Nutley, the 5th batter of the frame, with Diego Salazar on deck. 2 down, 2 on. No runs across for either side in this first frame. First pitch, outside. As we said, if the inning were to continue, the first baseman, Diego Salazar, is on deck. Nutley, the senior from Gloucester Catholic, went 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored versus Gwynedd Mercy. Went 0 for 3 in the doubleheader versus Immaculata. This is his 3rd collegiate team that he's been a part of. He played over at LaSalle and Westchester and has now settled at Rutgers-Camden for his senior season as a corner infielder. 2 balls, no strikes. Hahn looks back, delivers. That one's right down the pipe, 2-1. After a 3-up, 3-down frame for the Nittany Lions, it'll be Montana Millward, Josh Barr, and Fallers. 4, 5, and 6 due up for Penn State. That one's popped up, foul. 2-2. As we said, five batters in this frame. Hahn has had to work through a lot, giving up an infield single and a walk to Aquilino. He's given up 2 4-pitch walks in this inning alone, but almost miraculously, nobody has come across the plate. 2-2. That's a line shot in the right center field. That is going to drop in front of Millward. Coming around third and scoring is Rutgers-Camden's first run of the night, and it is Adam Aquilino, 1-0 Rutgers-Camden. You know, that's why Ryan Nutley was a D1 product over at LaSalle. You know, those scouts don't mess around. They see a lot of excellent talent from hundreds of different schools, and the thing about Ryan Nutley is that he is just an overall great hitter. That did move Schaefer to second base, so that's 2 on after the RBI single by Nutley. Swing and a miss on looked like a breaking ball there. Something off speed. 6th batter of the frame for the Scarlet Raptors, as it's now 1-0 in the bottom of the first after that RBI single the other way by Nutley. Inside, good take there, 1-1. You got to realize, though, Nutley is a kind of guy that can hit the ball to all planes of the field. He can hit it to left, he can hit it to center, he can hit it to right. Basically, his philosophy is hit it where they are not. And it's effective. And that's what got him his first RBI of the year. Like we said, he went 0 for 3 in the doubleheader versus Immaculata, and then went 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored in that blowout 16-6 win over Gwynedd Mercy. And Danny Vasquez, the guy who's going to follow Evan Carbone, he's right now in the hole. Had a 2-run home run in the first inning of that game versus Gwynedd Mercy. That one misses high. Salazar shakes him off, and it's 3-1. Nittany Lions thought it was going to be a little easier than it turned out to be to get out of the frame. And Salazar is going to try to add another runner to the logjam. 3-1 with a chance to load the bases. Hahn delivers. Strike 2. I think Salazar started to walk, and then he realized, I'm going to walk on back. But a big spot here. Full count, 2 outs, 2 on. No room for error here. In a 1-0 game in favor of the Scarlet Raptors. Let's see what Hahn's got. Payoff pitch on the way. Ground ball in between third and short. Diving. Is he going to get the throw over in time? The throw is going to get away. It gets away from Barr. Scoring is Schaefer. Coming around third and coming in to score for a third run is Nutley. Getting all the way to third on the miscue on a soft ground ball in the infield is Diego Salazar, who travels an entire 270 feet to make it 3-0 Scarlet Raptors.
Now batting for the Raptors, we have number 48, Evan Carbone.
So that will be a 3-base error that scores Schaefer and Nutley. As here's the lefty catcher Carbone, who drops down a 2-out bunt that will trickle foul. Well, that was a big turn of events there. I mean, that'll be scored as 2 unearned runs against Hahn, at least in our book. Remember, my scorebook is not the official book, but we do sometimes just conference with the official scorekeepers to make sure that we're on the right page. That's fouled back. 0-2. Like we said, though, Penn State-Abington is going to have the meat of their order in the top of the second inning, and they're going to try to go to work with this deficit behind them. 0-2. Hahn fires it outside. 1-2. That last out has just been staring him in the face. It's been teasing him for the last couple of batters now. Like we said, that ground ball in the infield was not his fault. We had it scored as an E5, but that skips low. I think the discrepancy with scoring an error there is that, well, the third baseman made a diving stop, but he also messed up the throw. So do you call it an E3? Do you call it an E5? It still counts as an error, no matter what. But what matters is who you call it against, because obviously for scouting purposes, that's going to hurt your fielding percentage. And as the ground ball hit sharply by Carbone at the second base on a couple hops and a fundamental throw to first, retires the side. But the damage is done. Hahn gets out of it, but 3 runs come across, including on a 3-base error off the bat of Diego Salazar. We'll be right back. Rutgers-Camden up by a triple in the first. Top of the second, right here for Penn State-Abington, Montana Millward, the graduate of Pittman High. Of course, he is no stranger to playing at picturesque fields like this. You can add Alcyon Park to the list as that first pitch is fouled back. Can't wait to go back to Alcyon Park this year. We'll be covering them, I believe, on April 23rd versus Gateway for Pittman. And then we'll be back for the Joe Lang Classic on Saturday, April 27th. It's Pennsauken and Pittman to be followed by the championship game. The other 2 teams participating in that tournament are last year's winners, Gloucester and GCIT. There's a base hit to center field, a rocket off the bat of Millward, and that's going to give Penn State their first runner of the afternoon.
Now batting for the Nittany Lions, we have number 20, Josh Barr.
Josh Barr, the first baseman, will try to follow up that single with a rally-inducing knock of his own. As, like we said, Ethan Carpenter took care of Penn State pretty handily in the first, with 2 ground outs and a line out to left on a sinking fly ball that Watson caught on a dive. Barr wasting no time, fouls away the first pitch. But when you're down by 3 early, or even more runs than that, the biggest thing that you've got to get out of your system is just any kind of negative feeling. You see the runs on the scoreboard, you don't want to think of it as an opportunity of, oh, we're losing. You want to think of it, okay, we're losing now, but what can we do to change that? What do we have to do to get those runs across the plate? Sometimes you got to do it slowly but surely, get some good plate discipline, rack up a couple of walks, get a couple of infield hits. Sometimes you have to get runs in a slow manner. Sometimes it takes one swing to get a run across, and other times it takes a full 6 batters. That's the most you can have, but if you're Penn State-Abington right now, you're on the road, you have an 0-3 record, your situation. You just have to capitalize on what you have and use your resources to the best of what you can, to the best of your ability. Carpenter misses low, it's 1-2. Fallers is on deck, the catcher who took a nasty swing off the face mask in the bottom half of the first. Carpenter is set, gives him a nod, throw to first. The ball skips away from Salazar. He didn't know where it was, and he'll pick it up without any further repercussions. Still 1-2. Mostly sunny day, a couple of scattered clouds here and there, rather light clouds in the sky. Obviously the calm before the storm that's going to be coming tomorrow. Like we said, that Rosemont doubleheader got moved to Sunday. Still the same times, 11:30 and 1:30. Although the funny thing is, they say 11:30 and 1:30. Well, the last time we were here for a doubleheader versus Immaculata, Game 2 didn't start until 3 o'clock. So take that 1:30 start time with a very, very light grain of salt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Early traffic for Penn State-Abington. And the 1-2 from Carpenter. He lost the bat. And I don't know what to tell you there. That, oof.
Now batting from the line, chip number 30, Jake.
What did the kids say at middle school recess? They'd call you Butterfingers. It's a swing and a miss. And I guess you can call that a swinging strikeout. There's one away. For Fallers, the catcher. They're going to throw back over to first. Salazar thought he got him, but to no avail. So runner on first, one away after the strikeout by Barr. Outside. So Barr and Schaefer have a good chance of knowing each other as the throw over to first. They are not letting go of Montana Millward, I'll tell you that. Schaefer, the junior from Burlington City. Well, Josh Barr is also a Burlington City grad. He is a graduate student here at Penn State-Abington. Has 2 hits in 11 at-bats this year. Takes a strike. He appeared in all 3 games for PSA this year. Had 3 at-bats versus Methodist, 4 apiece versus DeSales and Newman. Picked up a hit apiece in Methodist and DeSales, those games down in North Carolina. Hit well down the right field line. That one is foul into the batting cages. Here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, Rutgers-Camden up 3-0 on Penn State-Abington. I'm Dan Wilkins with my producer Vincent Folk this afternoon. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast so far. Any questions or comments, please drop a line on on our email at thedanwilkinshow@gmail.com.
Now batting for the Nittany line,
A strike 3 called by Fallers. Back-to-back Ks for Carpenter, and that brings up Margot. Margot, the DH. Out of Collingswood. He's a DH and a pitcher. Two-way players still exist in D3 baseball. Gave up 9 hits but struck out 7 versus Newman on Sunday the 25th. However, as a hitter, he has struggled. He has all 3 games on his record and all 3 offers. 0 for 3 versus Methodist, 0 for 4 versus DeSales, and 0 for 3 versus Newman. The 0-2, that's foul. So 0 for 11 for Margot this season. Crowd starting to file in here at Rutgers-Camden. No balls, 2 strikes. Montana Millward, he's been standing on first base and diving back to first base for a heck of a long time. Here's the 0-2. Outside corner, didn't get it. 1-2. Well, I guess if Fallers didn't like that strike 3 call from the last at-bat, that kind of makes up for it there. If the inning were to continue, Inkalingo is on deck. Down low, 2-2. Of course, before Rutgers-Camden leaves for Central Florida, we will have one more game after the Rosemont doubleheader on Sunday. That'll be on March 7th versus York College. That is a 4 o'clock start versus the Spartans. Let's try this again, 2-2. Carpenter can't get it. 3-2. Calling that zone to a T. That looked just a tad outside, but we'll see if he can get him back. 3 balls, 2 strikes, a runner on for Penn State-Abington. Carpenter already with 2 strikeouts to his name in a row in the second. 3-2. Fouled back, and it hit somebody in the Penn State-Abington dugout right on the shoulder blade. That actually hit Eric Rollins, who was on deck. Funny thing is, like we said, Eric Rollins and Margot, both former teammates over at Collingswood. So, guess you could call that tough love with that foul ball. Here we go again, the payoff with Millward on first. He fouls it back. Wait a second, that one went over. It looked like for sure it was going to go out, but Nutley still gave it a run. Rutgers-Camden put up 7 men to the plate in the first. It's going to be 8, 9, and 1 with Vasquez and Tonicello and Watson. The 3 due up in the bottom of the second. There's a line drive foul. And this at-bat just will not die. But they would have been back in that dugout if there was a strike 3 call there. Not that I'm saying it was wrong or anything, but I'm sure Rutgers-Camden is kind of kicking themselves that they didn't get that benefit of the doubt just a couple of pitches ago. Upstairs, strike 3 called. That one's going to be a strike 3 called. He just threw Penn State's guy out of the game. They just threw Penn State's third base coach out of the game. He told him to stop. He told him to stop arguing. And a rather short fuse for these crews tonight. And he is being held back as he has been thrown out of the game, and they'll need a new third base coach for the remainder of the night. After 1.5, quite an entertaining scene here early at Rutgers-Camden. 3-0 after an inning and a half. Danny Vasquez gets it started in the bottom of the second inning for Rutgers-Camden as Penn State-Abington down 3 runs and down a coach. Their third base coach was thrown out after arguing a strike 3 call at the end of the inning. The ball, I mean, in all fairness to Margot, was a little high, but at the same time, you know, I've said before that umpires have a lot more restraint. Oh, you know what? You're right. Because he got thrown out of the game, the ejected coach has to leave the dugout. You don't want a Bobby Valentine situation where he comes back with a fake mustache and an NYPD hat, but
umpire makes a bad call and the coach has to leave.
so yeah, they're waiting for him to leave, but Hahn gets a couple extra warm-up pitches here. This is kind of a more unnecessary delay than it needs to be. He's just standing there.
Oh, it's him right there.
Yeah, so Hahn will still get to throw. Obviously, Penn State still not happy about that call, but so here we go, Vasquez. Getting the frame started for Rutgers-Camden. First pitch. He had a 2-run home run versus Gwynedd Mercy on Tuesday. You could see even Penn State-Abington's coaches were yelling at their own players to not say anything that could cause more trouble. Hot shot foul. Dropped by Rutgers-Camden's third base coach, and it's 0-2. So after a considerable delay, we're back at it again with the 0-2 that misses outside, 1-2. One-two from Hahn. Lifted out towards right. Playable by Millward towards the corner. He let it drop, and it's a fair ball. Goes into the corner. Vasquez dives head first. He's got a double. So a leadoff double for number 7, Danny Vasquez. And now we'll round out the order with Giacomo Antonicello. So Antonicello, the right fielder, steps in for the first time today. Jacob Watson, who stole second base after an infield single and was cut down stealing third, or attempting to steal third. He will bat for the second time around in this bottom of the second. 1 ball, no strikes to Antonicello. Foul. Yeah. I guess if there's any bright sign for, or silver lining for Penn State-Abington, it's that the head coach wasn't the one who was ejected, it was the third base coach. Antonicello bunts it, got a piece of it, and is retired on the sacrifice that moves Vasquez over to third. It looked like he got jammed on that bunt because he backed up a couple of steps. He backed up a couple of steps after hitting the ball, and it almost looked like it kind of hit towards the inside barrel of the bat. Not really where you wanted to hit it. But Watson looks to drive this runner home from third. Hahn brings it inside, 1-0. Infield playing in for Abington. And Hahn looks, delivers. Hot chopper out towards second base. That'll bring a run home, but a spinning play at second base retires Watson. Gets the out, but Vasquez comes home. It's 4-0.
Raptors, we have number 1 out of Aquilino.
Nice play over at second by Doherty. He didn't save the run, but he got the out, and sometimes that's all you need. You know, a lot of times, look, they're already down. Going down by 4 instead of going down by 3 is not as big of a deal as a lot of people say it is. You know, it's early in the game. Penn State still has plenty of time to claw back. They have 2 more innings than they would in high school or than they would in a doubleheader. We're playing a full 9 today. It's a ground ball out to third. It gets booted, hits right off the chest of the third baseman, and that'll be a base hit as that ball just smacked off the chest of McGee. And it's a single for Aquilino. So here's Uzdanovich. Hot shot back up the middle. That's going to trickle into center field for a base hit.
Now batting for the Raptors, we have number 24.
Here's Schaefer.
Steven Schaefer.
So back-to-back singles for the Rutgers-Camden Scarlet Raptors, and the third hit of the frame. They're up to a total of 6 hits today. That 3-base error off the bat of Salazar on the official scorebook was changed to a single E5. So that does bring it to 6 total hits, 3 in the first, 3 in the second. A consistently hot offense for Rutgers-Camden in what is a 4-0 game with 2 outs in the bottom of the second. Hahn in the same situation he was before. That ball is booted. That's going to be another error, and that's going to be another base runner for the Scarlet Raptors. Uzdanovich moves to second. Schaefer gets aboard, and Aquilino helps load the bases as Penn State-Abington's going to talk to their man. They'll talk it over as Ryan Nutley comes up to the plate. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Drive into success today with you or your child taking the road test at their campus in Suite 4 at the Total Turf Experience right off of Lambs Road in Pittman. So Hahn, after a meeting there, sends the infield on its way, and we'll also be on our way. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Ryan Nutley at the dish. Penn State has already been charged 2 timeouts, or 2 mound visits. College rule is 5, as it is in minor league baseball and Major League Baseball. Here we go. Ground ball foul down the third base line. Fouled back. Got a barely piece of it. And it's 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Nutley trying to keep the rally alive. Rutgers-Camden has already plated 1 run in this inning. No, called strike 3. Hahn gets out of it and leaves the bases loaded. After 2, it is 4-0 in favor of Rutgers-Camden. We'll be right back. Tommy D's Home Design Center has opened a second location on Creek Road in Belmar, operating in Philadelphia for over 25 years and now expanding into South Jersey. Tommy D's is the place to go for kitchen cabinets, countertops, Penn State-Abington down by 4 as we go to the top of the third. Ben Franklin looking on in the background. Well, at least his bridge is. Not Ben Franklin himself, of course, but his namesake. What was named after him? Connecting Philly and Jersey. It's going to be 8-9-1. For the Nittany Lions in the top half of the third. Donato Incalingo of Huntington Valley, PA, of Lower Moreland High. He is 1 for 8 this year, picked up a hit versus Newman on Sunday the 25th. But as we said, these guys have played a really sparse schedule so far this year. They went 0 for 3 as that one sailed away from Carpenter and went right behind the backstop. So that'll be 2-0. But they played 3 teams down in North Carolina. And this is their first game even remotely close to Pennsylvania. They lost 19-0 to Methodist University. In the Methodist Invitational, I should say. There's a rocket to left. That's a base hit for Incalingo. Watson picks it up. And a leadoff base hit here, taking a turn around first and halting there. Penn State-Abington lost 2 of their 3 games down in Fayetteville by double digits. 17-3 versus DeSales and 19-0 versus Methodist. They lost 4-0 to Newman. But as we said, they're playing this one game right here. And then they will be leaving probably tomorrow for the Russ-Matt Invitational down in Davenport, Florida. They threw behind the runner, didn't get anything there. They'll be playing a lot of teams down there at the Russ-Matt Invitational. They'll be playing Concordia on March 3rd. They've got Gordon College on Monday, Moravian on Tuesday, Illinois College on Thursday, Anna Maria College on Friday the 8th, Farmingdale State, Milwaukee School of Engineering, and they actually play Rutgers-Newark down there on Monday, March 11th. And then they'll be back for more Penn State action. They'll be playing in the United East Conference Penn State Berks in a 3-game series on March 15th and 16th. No balls, 2 strikes to Eric Rollins after the Incalingo single. Throw over to first. Salazar picks it, but he couldn't get anything else. I mean, obviously you got to check on Carpenter a little bit after that wild pitch. Sometimes it's just the ball slips away from you, but you see sometimes when the ball does get away in that manner, sometimes you can throw something out in your arm. Nice hit to right center field by Rollins to round out the order. The ball is bobbled in right by Antonicello, but nobody else moves up, and that will be a back-to-back single for Penn State-Abington. So Sean Doherty, who grounded out to short to start the game, is going to try to pounce on Ethan Carpenter. And he's going to try to make something happen here. 2 on, nobody out. Probably Penn State's best chance of getting a run across so far. If you're going to rattle Ethan Carpenter, you're going to do it now. First pitch, bunting, is Doherty, and it's foul. Don't forget, in the top of the 4th inning, you can go to our Twitter account, /X account, I guess you want to call it, at DW Broadcasting to vote in our Trivia Time poll. Hopefully it'll work this time. The question will be posted in the top of the 4th inning. It'll be shown on screen here. And then in the bottom half of the 4th, we will show the results and the correct answer. It's going to be a fun one. Hopefully you know something about basketball. Throw over to second. I showed my producer, Vince, the question before the game, and he said, I have no idea who that even is. But if you are a fan of basketball, especially 1980s basketball, you might know the question. It's a combo between basketball and baseball. All of our Trivia Time questions are baseball-centered, but you'll see where I'm going with it at the top of the 4th. The 0-1 from Carpenter. Yeah, downstairs. Couldn't get that one on the breaking ball. Looks like a slider there, 1-1. But I think even with Rutgers-Camden, they've seen the other side of the story where they saw PSA's third base coach get thrown out for, just a little bit of chirping. They know Rutgers-Camden is going to follow suit, not in the argument fashion, but in the fact that they know these guys might be on a short fuse and they're not going to have as much restraint in throwing out a guy. So you want to make sure that you keep your P's and Q's and you make sure that you don't say anything stupid that's going to get you sent home. Or as they say, sent to the showers. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 on. Penn State-Abington looking to rally. Not going to get it there, though, with a strike 3 called. Looks like he might have went around as well, but Doherty strikes out. 4th strikeout for Carpenter, and here is Philman, the shortstop. Philman of Whitehall, Pennsylvania. He has been on an 0 for streak this year as well. 0 for 3, 4, and 5, respectively, versus Methodist. But that's not in time. RBI single. Scoring is going to be Mr. Incalingo, and it is 4-1. For the senior Shane Philman, he broke the streak. He was 0 for 12 going into today's game, and in fact was 0 for 13 going into that at-bat, and he finally broke the streak, and he did it with some thunderous power to it as well. 4-1 on the RBI single. Well, that's just going to keep the party moving. More ducks on the pond here for Penn State. It's taking outside 1-0 to McGee. Rollins on second. Philman on first. Here's the 1-0. Hot shot. Aquilino's not going to get there. That's going to trickle into left field. Watson picks it up. A fired shot to the plate, but Nutley cut it off, and it's an RBI single back-to-back as delivering is McGee, and the deficit is chopped in half. It's 4-2. They've just come swinging right out of the gates, and, after Penn State looked like they were really rattled, even after their third base coach got ejected, they used that as fire under their belly, and they've used it to score two line drive singles and score 2 runs to make it a 4-2 game. So Mound Visit here, talking it over with the infield, and they will break. But Carpenter, he's worked under adversity before. We saw it on last Saturday in the Immaculata doubleheader. But you don't want to give up that lead. Rutgers-Camden set you up in a really good spot offensively. They gave you the run support. You don't want to squander that. But to be completely fair, Penn State has just been drilling the ball this inning. They've had 4 singles in 5 batters, with the only thing breaking that up was a strike 3 called against Doherty. And the first pitch to the cleanup man, Millward, is a swing and a miss. Barr on deck for the Nittany Lions. I think they just got to realize at this point that, look, there's many different ways this can go. If he can ground one up to the middle infield, Aquilino or Vasquez can turn a double play and get out of it, but you just have to be dialed in, and Carpenter doesn't really look like he's dialed in right now. I mean, with all due respect, Carpenter's a great pitcher, but sometimes you just have your dull moments, your ebbs and flows of the game, your highs and lows. Right now, he's working on the low right now, trying to turn it into a high. Inside, called for a strike, 1-2. Millward, the cleanup man, with ducks on the pond. 2 runs already across for Penn State. And Carpenter looking to avoid as much damage as possible. But he still has another out to work with. There's a ground ball. Nutley picks it up. This could be around the horn for 2. He got him! 5-4-3. Nutley to Vasquez to Salazar to retire the side. Ethan Carpenter gets out of it, but 2 runs come across for Penn State. It's 4-2 going to the bottom of the third. Here from Camden, it is 4-2 in favor of Rutgers-Camden. Penn State got their first runs of the afternoon on the board as Hahn, still kicking, delivers the ball low to Diego Salazar. It'll be Salazar, Carbone, and Vasquez, 6, 7, and 8 on the slate for Rutgers-Camden. Foul ball, third base side. 1-1. 2-1 rather, excuse me. Up high. That one's a rocket to right, and it's a base hit. Diego Salazar, the ball gets away from Millward. He'll pick it up, going into second base. Salazar slides in safely. leadoff double. And Salazar picks up a single and an E9. So here's Carbone. That is their third error in 3 innings. An E5 against them in the first, another E5 charged against them in the second, and now a single E9 to start the third. That one misses. 1-0 to Carbone with Danny Vasquez on deck. Two balls, no strikes. (2-0) and a bunt by Carbone. He lays it down. It's going to roll. It's going to be fair. Hahn pump fakes the throw, and that's going to be a bunt single for the catcher Carbone, moving the runners to the corners. Vasquez had a leadoff double in the second. Now he's got 2 runners on to aid him. So what's he going to have for this AB? Like we said, he doubled to lead off the bottom of the second inning. Later came around to score. That's a pop-up. That's going to be caught. They're going to throw back to third. So they tried to have a little more fun with the bunts, but instead it turns into an out.
Now batting for the Raptors, we have number 11,
Here's Giacomo Antonicello. He gave himself up for a sacrifice, he drove in Vasquez. Or at least helped him get there. 0-1. That's a slow tapper, gets past Hahn. The ball's going to be booted at second, and they're not going to call a single out. Wait a second, what in the world? Trying to get the camera to focus here, I apologize. Looked like an aggressive slide in the second. I saw...
He's got to ask for help there.
I saw the second baseman, Doherty, go down.
Can't get that one wrong. Can't get that wrong. It's right in front of you.
And now he's not happy either.
How did he throw it? How did he throw it if he didn't have control? Back him up.
The run did score. It is 5-2. You can see Doherty wants an explanation as well as to...
How did he throw it? Hey.
And Philman...
Come on, guys.
So excuse me, Philman was taken aback by the fact that that wasn't called, and now he's getting a couple of words in. I was gonna say,
That's so bad.
it's a lot easier for a kid to get thrown out of the game than a coach, and if they already threw out one Penn State guy, then another might be on the way. But the run did come across in Salazar. So Antonicello reached, and now Watson steps in at a first pitch foul. So Carbone now on second, and Antonicello on first. But a controversial call brings home a run for Rutgers-Camden. It's 5-2. Outside, 1-1. But Penn State right now, whether they get the call right or not, what's important for them is they have to make sure they don't get themselves too rattled, because they've still got a baseball game to play and they've still got 6 more innings to play. They got the offense cooking in the first. There's a hot shot, one hop back to Hahn, gets it to second for one, on to first, and talk about a bounce back. Talk about a redemption play as a 1-6-3 double play holds Rutgers to 1 run. We'll be right back after 3, 5-2, Scarlet Raptors. Here in the top of the 4th inning, it is time for DWB Trivia Time. Today's question is, Danny Ainge, former Boston Celtics and Phoenix Suns guard in the 1980s, played 3 years in Major League Baseball for which AL East team? Is it the Baltimore Orioles, the Toronto Blue Jays, the New York Yankees, or the Boston Red Sox? The answer will be revealed in the bottom of the 4th inning. Getting it started for the Nittany Lions is going to be Josh Barr, with Barr, Fallers, and Margot at the dish in the 4th. But Danny Ainge is one of those two-sport athletes that a lot of people forget about. Everybody remembers Bo Jackson, Michael Jordan, and Deion Sanders. Barr went around on it, and it's 0-2. But people forget about Danny Ainge. Spent 3 years in Major League Baseball, and then literally at the end of the 1981 season, he went from where he was playing in Major League Baseball to Boston to play for the Celtics. Foul tip. Still 0-2. He then went on to play, I believe it was 12 years in the NBA, played for the Celtics in the 80s, closed out his career in 93, 94-ish, spent about 8 years in Boston, another 5 with the Phoenix Suns, but he's currently the GM of the Utah Jazz. Barr gets a shoulder into Evan Carbone and is called out, or rather swinging on strikes. So he has struck out twice. 5 Ks for Carpenter, and this brings up Fallers, the catcher here. First pitch, outside. A lot of people forget, too, about Drew Henson. He was another guy that played in Major League Baseball and played in the NFL, just like Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson. The difference between him, though, is that he was not a wide receiver or a running back. He was a quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys after his short stint with the New York Yankees. He was a Dallas Cowboys backup quarterback from 2000 to 2002, and he then spent 2 years in Major League Baseball in 2004 and 2005 for the New York Yankees. And, of course, now people are always talking about Kyler Murray or these actual two-sport athletes in college. But the 1-2 misses high to Fallers. And it is 2-2. 2-2, breaking ball outside. Three-two, hot shot out to short. Aquilino slides, gets on the seat of his pants. Throw to first is going to be short. Just took a couple of hops, and Aquilino seemed like he got caught up in the turf monster, and that's going to be an infield single for Fallers. So here's Alex Margot at the dish here for Penn State-Abington. I mean, hey, Joe Mauer was the perfect example of a multi-sport athlete right out of high school. I mean, obviously, we see multi-sport athletes all the time in high school, especially here in Jersey, where some of these schools have to have multi-sport athletes to even have athletic programs in the first place. Great example, Pittman Stephen Devaney. He's a starting wide receiver in football, the starting forward in the basketball team, and the starting pitcher and third baseman on the baseball team. But thing is, though, is that Joe Mauer was the first overall draft pick in 1999 by the Minnesota Twins. Throwback to first, not in time. He was the first overall draft pick by the Twins in 1999 out of his local high school in Minnesota, less than an hour away from where the Twins played at the Metrodome. And he was the number one athlete in the state for both football and baseball. Swing and a miss. 0-2. But college two-sport athletes are actually more common than you think. Jeff Samardzija was a quarterback for Notre Dame, but he also played baseball over at Notre Dame and ended up being a successful starting pitcher for the past 10 years for the Giants and Cubs. Got the Giants a couple of World Series rings about 10 years ago. That one missed, 2-2. Or excuse me, 1-1, or 1-2. Oh my gosh. Can't contain myself today. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Carpenter looking to get back in it with a runner on first and 1 away. Carpenter delivers a breaking ball, couldn't get it. Two and two. Carpenter trying to prevent the offensive onslaught that we saw from Penn State in the top half of the third. Throw back to first. That ball gets away. Salazar has to chase after it. Fallings goes to second, and that'll be an E1, the first of its kind today against Rutgers-Camden. Those are the kind of plays that when you're rattled on the hill, you're going to get even more rattled. You're going to get even more, out of composure and out of stride when plays like that happen. You just have to lock back in and focus on your main objective, your biggest target, which is the batter. But now with a runner in scoring position, the 2-2, this one is outside. Good frame by Carbone, but it's 3-2. And Alex Margot is going to fight this at bat for as long as he possibly can. Throw over to second, couldn't get it. Very, very close there. And Carpenter, for what it's worth, a couple of words for the second base umpire. I did not see whether he was safe or not. That looked very close. But either way, Penn State looking to capitalize on this long at bat and turn it into a run or even more. The payoff. Strike 3 right down Broadway. That's a call you can't contest right there, and there's 2 away. A strikeout looking, the second tonight for Margot, and it's the second out of the frame for Incalingo. Donato at the dish here. Center fielder singled to start off the third inning. First pitch, strike 1. Carpenter's back into the swing of things. Penn State-Abington does have an arm warming up in the bullpen. One and one. That is number 10. We'll take a look at that in a second. That is Nate DeCristofaro of Haddon Township. The freshman here, he is warming up in the pen. Of course, Nate DeCristofaro's dad, Scott, is here. He's an assistant coach over at Valley Forge. And Scott, standing just a couple of feet away from us. But it looks like DeCristofaro may get some reps if Hahn isn't pulled in this fourth inning. He might just have to get ready to go. The 2-1 pitch. Gets it. 2-2. Took a second to get the call, but he got it. And now they're going to try it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 runs on the board for Penn State, and Carpenter looking to get out of the jam and looking to keep that pitch count low. Time is called. It was a little late. And Carpenter is not happy with it, and I can't blame him. It was called a little bit later than Carpenter or Carbone would have wanted. But two and two. That's an interesting call, but we'll try it again. We'll get a little clarification on that. 2-2. And Carpenter in trouble. Swing and a miss. He went around. Didn't matter. Ball was in the strike zone anyway. Carpenter with a couple of words for the Nittany Lions dugout. He is fired up. And that will end the top of the fourth. We go to the bottom half. 5-2, Rutgers-Camden. First pitch came back just in time, playable in center field, and it's taken in. 1 pitch, 1 out. It's time for DWB Trivia Time. If you know anything about basketball, you might know today's question, but it is, Danny Ainge, a Celtics guard in the 1980s for the Phoenix Suns and for the Boston Celtics, spent 3 years in Major League Baseball. For which AL East team? Was it the Baltimore Orioles, the Toronto Blue Jays, the New York Yankees, or the Boston Red Sox? Looking at our Twitter poll to see what you guys said, 71% said the Toronto Blue Jays, which is the correct answer. B is your correct spot today. 14.3% each said the Orioles and Yankees. But yeah, I mean, like I said, people always remember Bo Jackson. They remember Deion Sanders. They even remember Michael Jordan when he played for the White Sox minor league team down in Birmingham. But what a lot of people forget is Danny Ainge. I mean, he wasn't a Hall of Fame player for Boston, but he was still a starter for many of those years in the 80s, from 82 to 89. And like we said, he closed out his career in the mid-90s with the Phoenix Suns, back when they had the round mound of rebound Charles Barkley. Line drive to left. That is going to be a base hit. Backtracking in left and getting a base hit is Uzdanovich. He is 2 for 3. So here's Steve Schaefer. Steven Schaefer, his third at-bat of the day. He walked, came around to score. He reached on an error in the second inning. First pitch from Hahn. Outside. Nate DeCristofaro of Haddon Township is warming up in the bullpen. He just took his last throw. It looks like he's going to take a seat. And Penn State might go to DeCristofaro before this inning ends. DeCristofaro struck out 1 and walked 2 in an inning's work versus DeSales on Saturday the 24th. So we'll see if Joe Demento makes that nod anytime soon. But with the way Hahn is working right now, he's been struggling. Like we said, he gave up 6 hits in the first 2 innings and a grand total of 9 hits allowed. And the fact that he's only allowed 5 runs is honestly a miracle. He got out of a bases loaded jam in the second and left runners on in the third. That could have been a very, very bad situation for Hahn, and he might have already been pulled if it weren't for those clutch moments. Schaefer, for the second time tonight, reaches on a 4-pitch walk, moving Uzdanovich to second. Here's Ryan Nutley. For those just tuning in, 5-2. And now their assistant coach coming out to the mound. So here's a little clarification for that call that was made where time was honored at the plate earlier in that inning as Hahn is relieved of his duties. Nate DeCristofaro comes in. We'll go to break in a second, but let's talk about what happened earlier there as DeCristofaro comes in. When Incalingo was at the plate earlier in the top of the 4th inning, time was called, and Carpenter and Carbone were not happy about it, but the third base coach was coming down the line, and an offensive visit as like a mound visit was charged against Penn State-Abington, and it wasn't the batter who called time and the umpire honored it. The umpire himself called time, charged an offensive visit because the third base coach was so far out of the box that's why they called it. So Carpenter and Carbone were not happy, but things seem to have settled down now because he explained the situation. So yes, it's frustrating that Carpenter kind of wasted a meaningful pitch on something that didn't count, but at the same time, wasn't really his fault. The umpire called time because an offensive visit was to be charged against Penn State. So Nate DeCristofaro comes in after that little spiel. We'll be right back. 5-2, Rutgers-Camden in the bottom of the 4th. Ryan Nutley at the dish, Nate DeCristofaro on the hill for the second time in his college career. Again, he threw an inning versus DeSales on Saturday the 24th. And he is going to be thrown into the fire with 2 runners on and 1 out in a 5-2 game. DeCristofaro looking to continue what Hahn started and maybe halt what Hahn started, as that's going to be a throwback to second. No harm, no foul there. Couldn't get it. 1-0 is the count. But this has been a tumultuous game for everybody involved. We've had coaches thrown out, words exchanged, and this is a game where in chippy weather, emotions can get quite chippy right off the bat. Excuse me. Sorry. Runner goes. Both runners go, but here's a pop-up into center field. Making the catch and getting back is everyone on base. Here is Diego Salazar after the fly out to center. Luckily for Rutgers-Camden, both runners stealing second and third. Didn't have much of an impact. As Salazar with 2 outs and 2 on takes a first pitch strike. Evan Carbone, if the inning were to continue, is on deck. Lights have come on here at Rutgers-Camden. Just past 5 o'clock here. Oh, 2 to count. And Scott DeCristofaro to our right, watching his son pitch. Phone is out. Phone is live and recording. And here's the 0-2, way high, 1-2. This will be big for DeCristofaro if he can get out of the jam. Looks like a couple of pitchers are stretching out and warming up. They still have their hoodies on, so we don't know who they are yet. No action in the Scarlet Raptor pen. Here we go, 1-2 from DeCristofaro. Looks back at second a couple of times, and the pitch inside. 2-2. Looked fair and square to me, but he evens the count.
They can't call a strike right down the plate, so what do you expect?
Just a tad off the corner. He'll try it again. The 2-2. That one misses. 3-2. If he walks him, the bases will be loaded, and that's going to bring up a convoluted situation for Carbone. We'll see what he can do here. Right under pressure, the 3-2 from DeCristofaro. Both runners go. There's a line drive to left. That's a base hit. That gets down off the 3-10 sign and left. Scoring is Uzdanovich. Schaefer will score. And a 2-run, 2-out double as Diego Salazar delivers again and adds to the offensive onslaught at 7-2. So Uzdanovich and Schaefer came around to score. And it's 7-2. Rutgers-Camden has played at least 1 run in all 4 innings. 3 in the first, 1 in the second and third, and 2 in the fourth. It's a 5-run lead as DeCristofaro looking to get out of trouble. First pitch to Carbone, he went around, and it's 0-1. Danny Vasquez, who had a leadoff double in the second and popped out to first in the third, is on deck. Carbone tonight 1 for 2 with a ground out and a single. But these guys have had a lot of action at the plate so far with the 7-2 lead. They're already about to complete their 3rd rotation through the order. The offense has been very active tonight. Outside, 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike to the lefty Carbone. Two on the count. That one's hit well out to center field. Playable. Out there and making the catch to retire the side. 2 runs come in on a 2-run double by Diego Salazar. We go to the top of the 5th. 7-2, Rutgers-Camden. Eric Rollins, the 9-hole hitter, getting it started for Penn State-Abington. It is Rollins, Doherty, and Philman, 9-1-2 on the slate for the Nittany Lions. It's got to be confusing when Penn State comes back to play Penn State Berks on March 15th. Both teams are going to be the Nittany Lions. At least when Rutgers-Camden plays Rutgers-Newark, there's the Scarlet Raptors and Scarlet Raiders. So that's a little bit easier to decipher. That's a line drive out to left center field, hit well. Watson is under it, and he makes the catch. 1 away. Rollins is retired. Here's Doherty. He's 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout to his name tonight. This broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center. Keep your pet happy and healthy today with the best and most organic food products available, including toys, food, cages, accessories, and more. Visit today 7 days a week at 226 Whitehorse Pike in Audubon. And if you are a small business owner who is interested in contributing to Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, we are filming commercials for any small businesses in the area. Rates start at $250 for 6 months, and you get at least 1 airing on every DWB live stream. There's a ground ball to Aquilino, throws a little high. They are saying that he got him. They tagged out Doherty with Salazar. He made sure he was okay, and 2 up, 2 down.
Now batting for the Nittany Lions is number 8, Shane Philman.
So here's Shane Philman. Philman got to second base on a single E9. Rather, a RBI single in the top of the 3rd. Even I can't read my own handwriting sometimes. 0-1 to the man with a pencil in his hands. 1-1. Temperature is dropping as the sun's not really getting through. It's become really cloudy here, and the sun's not even going to set for another hour, but it's gotten quite cloudy here. Hot shot out to second, sliding stop Vasquez. He'll make the play and retire the side. A quick 1-2-3 for Rutgers-Camden. We go to the bottom of the fifth, halfway home here at the Scarlet Raptors nest, 7-2. Nittany Vasquez stepping in the bottom of the fifth inning. Rutgers-Camden up 7-2 on Penn State-Abington. His first pitch. Called for a strike, 0-1. Looked a tiny bit outside, but he gets the benefit of it. DeCristofaro stepping in for his second frame as he came in to relieve Hahn in the bottom of the fourth. Vasquez lifts this one out to center, playable. And that's caught, one away. Taken in by Eric Rollins, and Nittany Vasquez is retired. One out. A lot of action for Rollins in center field, especially in these last couple of innings. Luckily for him, he hasn't had to run much. He's just taken a lot of shallow fly balls that have been playable for him. And Antonicello shows bunt but pulls it back very quickly, and it's 0-1. No balls, one ball, one strike. There's a pitch from DeCristofaro, and outside. 2-1. Got to get a good look at that train there coming through. Strike two called. It's almost obligatory. I have to get one train shot per game. Maybe that can be like a parlay bet. Over under 2.5 train panoramic shots per game. Exactly. Just like people in the Super Bowl bet what color the Gatorade will be that they dump the Gatorade on for the head coach. What was it this year? It was like purple or something? I don't remember.
They do it on how long the national anthem is, too.
Yeah. Never would have thought we'd see a combination of Reba McEntire and Usher, but here we are. Fly ball by Antonicello. This one's going to make Rollins run out to left center field. That one drops. It's going to two-hop off the wall. Antonicello's not stopping. He's going for three. He is safe, sliding in with a one-out three-bagger. The bottom of the order doing a lot of heavy lifting as Antonicello gets 3 bases on that one. He was mostly an accomplice to Rutgers-Camden tonight with a sacrifice bunt and a fielder's choice, and now he's got his first hit. Watson singled in the first. Grounded into a double play to end the third. Infield in. There's a ball, 1-0. Every Rutgers-Camden batter has reached base today. Aquilino, 1 for 2. Uzdanovich, 2 for 3. Watson pops this one out of play. Schaefer does not have a hit, but he has 2 walks to his name and an error, so he has reached base all 3 times. Nutley, 1 for 3. Salazar, he is actually 3 for 3 tonight, with 2 of his hits being aided by errors. There's a bunt. Watson gets it down. He is out at first, but the run scores. Antonicello makes it 8-2 Scarlet Raptors. That's productive baseball right there. Watson knew that he needed to get the job done, and that's exactly what he did. That is outside. 1-0. So a 6-run lead for Rutgers-Camden, and again, in all 5 innings, they have plated at least 1 run, but now no ducks on the pond. Of course, it is a strike, but no ducks on the pond, but this place is probably going to be a pond tomorrow with how much rain we're getting. So I got a miss. Whew. Aquilino swinging out of his shoes. But the triple by Antonicello and the subsequent RBI by Watson. Down 2-2. Remember, we're only halfway done. We've still got another couple of innings to play, and we're already over the 2-hour mark. Game started at 3:37, so our broadcast has been going on for over 2 hours, but the 2-hour mark has yet to be hit. Probably is going to be hit in the next frame. Pop up to shallow right, and Aquilino is retired. Rutgers-Camden gets another run on a sacrifice bunt by Jake Watson. We'll be right back after 5, 8-2 Scarlet Raptors. Top of the 6th inning in order. Rutgers-Camden put another run on the board thanks to a sacrifice bunt by Jake Watson. It's 8-2. Hit well out to right field. This one's slicing the other way. It's going to one-hop, and it's picked up by Antonicello. Throw down to second. There's a ball rolling around in the infield, but that's not the game ball. That fell out of the umpire's pocket. That really confused me. There were 2 baseballs on the field, but one rattled out of the umpire's pocket. and it's a leadoff first pitch double for McGee. And here is Montana Millwood.
Now batting for the Nittany Lions with number 2, Montana Millwood.
They're going to throw back to second to try to catch him off guard. No, couldn't get it. Well, now you're going to get both sides agitated by the umpiring crew tonight, but so they'll hit the reset button here with Millward at the dish. Here we go. That one is down. 1-0. To Millward. Line drive to right, that's foul. Ball got away from the bullpen and time is called. I guess that segues into time to talk about who is warming up in that Penn State-Abington bullpen. That is number 5, Logan Woodward, the freshman. He struck out 1, gave up 2 hits versus Newman on Sunday the 25th, 1-1. Millward takes a strike, 1-2. Woodward is a freshman so new that they don't have his hometown or his school listed on Penn State's website, so he will be the mystery man. But we at least have a name, a number, and a face. It's really all I need to commentate baseball. A name, a number, and a face. 1-2. Millward goes swinging. And he went fishing in the dirt. Throw to first in time. 1 away. Well, those kind of swings don't help your momentum. If anything... Oh, we got a bench warning here. I think they're just trying to prevent the emotions from getting overheated. We've already seen a little bit of chippiness so far. A lot of it from Ethan Carpenter, but Carpenter getting an explanation from the second base umpire. But again, the last thing that you want in a situation like this, you know, game's already starting, not unraveling right now, but they're a couple of runs away from it unraveling, and the last thing you want is some sort of altercation and somebody says something and somebody does something and it ends up, you know, starting a riot. So it's an 0-1 count to Barr, who has struck out in both of his plate appearances tonight. That is a foul ball, 0-2. One out, runners on, well, actually just one runner on third, that being McGee. Penn State-Abington with another chance to maybe show a little tough love to Ethan Carpenter by driving in a run here. 0-2. Not this time around, that's going to be 1-2. Like we said, Logan Woodward warming up in the pen for Penn State. Chopper out towards Aquilino. That's going to bring home a run. His throw is just barely in time. And Penn State plates another. It's 8-3. I mean, what do we say? That's fundamental hitting right there. You don't need to get yourself on base as long as you bring the guy home. And I mean, obviously, you've only got 10 outs left. You've got 1 in the 6th and then 3 more in each of the 7th, 8th, and 9th. So right now, your best bet is getting those runs slowly but surely. If you get a couple here, get a couple there, you know, it's a multifaceted act. You have to pick it up on offense, but you also have to pick it up on the defensive side of the ball. That's a fly ball out to right, and Tonicello took a couple steps in, but now steps back and retires the side. At the end of the top of the 6th, Penn State-Abington gets another run home as things are getting a little tense here. Bench warnings have been issued. 8-3, Rutgers-Camden. Logan Woodward, the new pitcher for Penn State. In the top of the 6th inning, Rutgers-Camden gave up 1 run, but now we're going to be going back to work here with Augie Uzdanovich leading off the frame in the bottom of the 6th. This broadcast is brought to you by Tommy D's Home Improvement. Make your dream kitchen come true today with wholesale kitchen cabinets and countertops at heavily discounted rates. Visit at 612 Creek Road in Belmar next to the 42 on-ramp. And like we said, if you are a small business owner, we are filming commercials for South Jersey businesses. All of the commercials on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting are filmed by myself, edited by myself, recorded by myself, and produced by myself. So, you know, we are an organization that likes to connect with the local community. We had 240 concurrent viewers last night for Bishop Eustace and Gloucester Catholic in the South Jersey non-public semifinal. That shattered the record for the most concurrent viewers that we have ever had on a broadcast. And, you know, it was just an excellent game overall. It's a foul ball. could not be more thankful for, as an 18-year-old high school student, to be, living out my dream of calling these kinds of games, electric playoff games, college baseball, even something more in the future. But, this is just the beginning. Very grateful for what I have as an opportunity. Did he go around? Appeal says no, 2-2. Very close there. Can't really tell too much from behind the plate whether he broke the plane. That would be something you need a more side angle for. It's Uzdanovich, Schaefer, and Nutley. 3, 4, and 5 for the Scarlet Raptors. 2-2. Up and in, 3-2. I hope it's a little warmer on Sunday. Didn't they say that this week was going to be warmer than usual? They lied. They lied to us. Down. And it's ball 4. Uzdanovich gets aboard on a walk. Worked the count full and then took care of it. Here's Steve Schaefer. Strike one. We'll be heading into our final 3 frames after this. What has been a long game so far. We are just about to cross the 2-hour mark. I guess it hasn't been too long if you consider the fact that there used to be, before the pitch clock, 3.5, 4-hour Major League Baseball games as a standard. Major League Baseball games used to very, very regularly be over 3 hours. I have gotten used to the pitch clock. I don't think that it's that bad. When it first came out, look, we are all, as humans, and, with human nature, we are all very, resistant to change. When I was 6 years old, I threw a temper tantrum because my parents surprised me with a trip to Disney World. I'd never been there before, and I didn't like the prospect of going there because that wasn't a place I'd ever been. Oh, that one hit something on Delaware Ave. Almost set off the Richter scale. It's 1-2. But, I think the 5 mound visits, even that's something that, a lot of people were very against at first. People were very against the pitch clock, and some people are still very staunchly and very proudly against the pitch clock. And I understand the reason why. I just think if you're going to expand more broadly the game of baseball, it's something that needed to happen. This generation is a lot shorter of an attention span, and a 3.5-hour baseball game with only 5% action, even less than that, let's say very generously 5% action, 95% just standing around. It's a very slow game, and it's a very unappealing game to the younger generation. There's a ground ball by Schaefer. This could be 2. He'll take the bag for 1 on the first. He got him. Double play. And that brings a halt to Rutgers-Camden's plans of getting a rally going, as Ryan Nutley will be up next.
Yeah. Technically, I'm not even really supposed to be here right now. So, yeah. Might as well.
Here's Nutley. But think about it this way. Change happens in every sport. NBA introduced the shot clock in 1954. People said that was going to kill the sport. They introduced the 3-point line in somewhere in the 70s. That was an incredible change. It fundamentally changed the game. I wouldn't say that the pitch clock fundamentally changes the game. It's not like you added a 4th base. It's not like you changed the way runs are scored. It's not like you changed the distance between the bases. The pitch clock is much more of a mundane change than a lot of people thought it was going to be. It was something where, yes, it does change how some pitchers strategize, but some pitchers were already throwing quickly anyway. Some of them were already throwing in 10, 15 seconds. We'll talk about that in a minute as there's a fly ball to center field. Rollins is there. He's had a lot of work out there tonight. We'll take a quick break. Rutgers-Camden, for the first time tonight, has a goose egg on the scoreboard. We'll be right back. 8-3, Rutgers-Camden after 6. The new pitcher for the Scarlet Raptors, one of the cornerstones of this Scarlet Raptor bullpen and one of the 4 captains of the 2024 season, Jacob Brennan on the hill. Had a 2.48 ERA in 10 appearances in 2023, a 2021 transfer from Atlantic Cape Community College. He started 1 game last year, faced 119 batters and struck out 22, only allowing 5 extra base hits all year. But, you know, you've got Danny Robeson, the starter, but a lot of these guys, with the exception of maybe Ethan Carpenter, are going to make both starts and relief appearances. That's just kind of the way how D3 baseball works. You don't use somebody based off of what their role specifically is, as there's a base hit to right. You use them when they're available, and you use them when they're healthy. So if you need your bullpen guy to open a game and throw a couple of innings, then that's what they're expected to do. You don't have as many players as a Division I roster, or as much versatility as a Division I roster. You know, I kind of compare it to, like in high school, for Jersey at least, a Group 1 school versus a Group 4 school. In a Group 1 school, your starting pitcher is also going to play the infield and outfield when they're not pitching. In a Group 4 school, or even like a really, really deep Catholic school, you're going to have some guys who can only pitch and are only expected to pitch because they have enough room so that they don't need them playing the field. But when you're a Group 1 school, if you're going to be a pitcher only, you better be good enough so that you don't have to play in the field. Throw over to first, nothing going there from Brennan. It'll be Salazar, Carbone, and Vasquez for Rutgers-Camden in the bottom half of the 7th. Did he go? No, he didn't, and that's going to trail inside. And the appeal says he didn't go. 2 balls, no strikes. So Alex Margot got the single. With Incalingo at the plate. Time is called. 2-0 to 27 here. Lights have turned on. It's out of the Rutgers-Camden dugout. Sun is below the horizon, although we couldn't see it at all. A game that started at 3:30 is, especially at this time of the year in March, you're going to have a sunset at like 5:45, and a lot of your day games turn into night games, whether you want it to or not. These guys have a couple of night games scheduled, especially in out-of-conference play. They have a 6 o'clock game on April 2nd, which we cannot make, unfortunately, versus Wilson College. They play under the lights in a game that we will be at, April 9th, versus Keystone, and April 16th versus Alvernia at 6 o'clock, which is their senior night. Their senior night was originally April 23rd versus Cabrini and the Cavaliers, but they switched it to versus the Golden Wolves on the 16th. But again, all of those night games are out-of-conference games. All of your NJACs and conference games are being played at your typical 3:30 or 4 o'clock times. That one misses inside at the knees. 3-1. So Carpenter's final line tonight, 5 innings pitched, 6 strikeouts, just as many as he had on Saturday versus Immaculata in that 4-1 win in Game 1. And the 3-1 is going to be outside, ball 4. Back-to-back base runners. As here's Eric Rollins. Rollins singled and scored in the 3rd, lined out to left in the 5th. Penn State-Abington brought 3 men to the plate in the 5th, but brought up another 4 in the 6th. So it's a quick turnaround and traffic on the bases for the Nittany Lions. Runners on 2nd and 1st, and throw over to 2nd doesn't have any effect there. I'm gonna have to go in the men's room at the end of this inning and warm up my hands under the sink. Even with these gloves on, they're not doing anything. Just hold it under the hand dryer in there. Not as bad though as the Camden County and RCGC game we had here last Sunday. It was 36 degrees. Takes inside, pulls back from the bunt. But, I mean, hey. No matter what temperature it is at Rutgers-Camden, it's always got like a San Francisco feel to it where it's always going to be cold no matter what. We were here for the Camden County All-Star game in June. It was cold. We were here for the Summer League games even in July. I didn't feel safe wearing pants. I mean, it's... Like we said, I said it on Sunday, the famous Mark Twain quote. The coldest winter I ever spent was a summer in San Francisco. I mean, seriously. The winds from the river blow in, and that's why across the 4-5 games that we've seen here this year, only 1 homer has been hit. Now, Danny Vasquez did hit the home run versus Gwinnett Mercy, but we weren't there. Not Aaron Graber, I'm sorry, he's at Delaware. Gavin Degnan hit a solo homer to right in RCSJ's 16-4 win over Camden County on Sunday the 25th. But now that we're in March, a new month, new beginnings. The 1-2. High at the letters, 2-2. I'm starting to think that groundhog was a liar. He said an early spring, and he was dead wrong. Need to fire that groundhog. Get a new one in there. 2-2. Hot shot to 3rd. They're going to get possibly 2 out of this with the around the horn double play. Ryan Nutley to Danny Vasquez to Diego Salazar moves the runner to 3rd and takes out 2 precious outs for Penn State-Abington as we go back to the top of the order with Doherty.
Now batting for the Nittany Lions is number 3, Sean Doherty.
That moves Margot to 3rd as Brennan trying to get out of the jam. The St. Joe's Hamilton alum and a senior captain here. Like we said, he spent 1 year in 2021 over at Atlantic Cape Community College and has spent the last 2 years here. This is his third season as a Scarlet Raptor. 0-1, curveball lifted out towards right center field, and Tonicello is over. He has it, and he makes the catch. He got a beat on it, and he never let go. Jacob Brennan gets out of the jam without surrendering a single run. Penn State-Abington down to their last 6 outs. You better start us up to the bottom of the 7th inning. 8-3, Rutgers-Camden. Diego Sal. There we go. We're back. Sorry, our mic went out on us. How long was that out? Oh my gosh. Hope it wasn't out for a while. But 1-0 to count to Salazar. 6, 7, and 8. Salazar has reached base all 3 times. A single E5, a single E9, and a double. Foul. 2-1. I wish they did a 7th inning stretch here. I could really use it. I could really use a stretch. Could get something to get the muscles pumping. Just something. 3 balls, 1 strike to Salazar with Evan Carbone on deck, who apparently switched jersey numbers, because I remember he was not number 48 when he wore the white jerseys. He just might have a different number for the red alternates. Swing and a miss. Chased one outside, 3-2. Salazar of Highland Park, up in North Jersey, the junior majoring in psychology, takes a swing and a miss on a foul tip. And Woodward with a strikeout, his first of the night. 1 away. Here's Carbone.
Now batting for the Raptors, number 48, Evan Carbone.
Under the lights here at Rutgers-Camden. Down. High and in, 2-0. Carbone and then Denny Vasquez for Rutgers-Camden. Hopefully it is warmer on Sunday. I mean, it's going to be 11:30 and 1:30, so maybe with the sun being out, if the sun comes out at all, it'll be a little better. I mean, like I said, you know, we were here in June for the Camden County game. We were here in July when the Camden Summer League team was playing. And even with that, it was still a little brisk. That one fouled to the top of the netting, and it is 2-2. Here in the bottom of the 7th, Rutgers-Camden up by 5. They looked like they were on an offensive onslaught with 3 runs in the first, 1 apiece in the 2nd and 3rd, 2 more in the 4th, and 1 in the 5th. But they've slowed down a little bit. Woodward has kept them at bay. They had a 1-2-3 frame in the 6th. Breaking ball misses in, and the count runs full. Like we said, our basketball season is quite officially done. Best of luck to all their teams playing in the sectional finals on Saturday. As the 3-2 full count pitch, oh my God. Right in my face, 3-2. You know, I keep forgetting there's a net there, but it's human nature. It's the brain saying there's a giant object coming at your head. React. Let's try that again. Maybe without so much fear. 3-2. Foul back again. Look out. That one's going under the track. Whew. Hit well out to right field. Playable and right. And it's off the wall. Millward couldn't get it. Carbone around second. He's going for third. And he's going to get in there with a triple. Evan Carbone, 1 out triple. As the catcher gets a knock. Come on, camera. Camera's doing me no favors tonight. It is always difficult to get the camera to focus behind the net here, so I apologize for any issues, but I mean, this is not a cheap camera. You know, we tinker with a lot of settings, and it is not easy to configure. That one skips away, and coming home uncontested is Carbone. Talk about a fast trip around the bases. He got a triple and then followed it up by scoring on a wild pitch, and that extends Penn State-Abington's deficit to 9-3. Finally, it finally focuses back in. (2-0). Down. No, never mind. Strike. Sorry. 2-1. I jumped the gun a little bit there. Just now hitting the 6 o'clock mark. Just shy of 2.5 hours. Here in the bottom of the 7th inning, there's a line shot foul. Like we said on Sunday when Rutgers-Camden plays Rosemont, those will be 2 7-inning games that go by a little quicker than these. But with what we're used to with high school baseball being 7 and college baseball only playing 9 when it's a single day event or a single game event, you know, it makes it a little bit different for these guys that have to stick into it a lot longer and have to stay focused, especially in the cold weather, for a little bit longer than just 7 frames. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch, high, 3-2. Count is full to Vasquez. Jacob Watson is in the hole. Giacomo and Tonicello on deck for Rutgers-Camden. 3-2. Fires it in the dirt. Woodward not happy with himself, and that's going to be a free pass to Vasquez. He'll have a meeting here, and it looks like his time might be done. Penn State-Abington has a man in the bullpen. That is going to be number 19, coming into the game to relieve Logan Woodward. That is Owen Lynch of Yardley. Very unhappy with himself. We'll be right back. 9-3, Rutgers-Camden. Giacomo and Tonicello at the plate, and starting off his inning is going to be Owen Lynch. 4th pitcher for Penn State-Abington tonight. First pitch by Giacomo is foul. Ethan Hahn got the start. Nate DeCristofaro took over in relief, followed by Logan Woodward, and now the 4th pitcher tonight, that being number 19, Mr. Lynch of Yardley, Pennsylvania, of Pennsbury High School. And that'll be something we'll have to fix at the end of the inning. Outside, 1-2 to Antonicello.
Nice to meet you.
Antonicello has reached base twice, thanks to an error and a sacrifice. Out to second base, rather out to short. They get 1, not going to get 2 here. And a 6-4 fielder's choice retires Vasquez. Here's Watson with a man on first. Oh my goodness, this camera's killing me. As soon as we move it an inch, it goes out of focus. Because the game started during the day, and now it's at night. So, again, we are going to fix that at the end of the frame. That one is foul. Onto the track. 1-1. So here's Watson with a 1-1 count. Throw to first. Nothing going on there. Under the lights here at Rutgers-Camden. The 1-1. Down low. Oh my goodness. There's a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and a man on for Rutgers-Camden. Penn State could have had 2, but only turned 1 on that 6-4 fielder's choice. And after this, we'll go to the top of the 8th. Looked like they had somebody new on deck replacing Adam Aquilino. Watson sends it the other way, playable and caught. Inning over. 7 innings through. 9-3, Rutgers-Camden. We'll be right back. Two more innings to play here at Rutgers-Camden. It is 9-3. As Rutgers-Camden has plated a run in all but one frame, which was the 6th. They got one home thanks to a triple by Evan Carbone, who promptly scored on a wild pitch. This bat makes me laugh every single time. Every single time he comes up, it makes me laugh. Down low from Brennan. In the bottom of the 8th, we saw somebody else in the on-deck circle, not Adam Aquilino, but it is Philman, McGee, and Montana Millward. Strike one. 1-1. Luckily, we noticed that decently quickly. Two balls, one strike. So 2 strikeouts for Brennan, including one in this frame. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. That's outside to Millward, 3-1. I mean, after all the chirping that went on Saturday versus Immaculata, I'm surprised that no Mighty Max coaches were thrown out. But 3-2 to Millward. I think after the chippiness that there was in the first half of this game, I think things have simmered down a little more. You know, things can get heated, but sometimes cooler heads can prevail, and that's obviously the preferred option to the alternative. You know, a coach was thrown out early, bench warnings were given out, Carpenter said some stuff, and you know, I think both sides are given an opportunity to kind of, I mean, no fights happen out of nowhere. You know, almost always they have a rhyme and a reason, and that's, you know, something where they let it slide, they let it cool down, and now we can play baseball and just play baseball. Ryan Kulik is coming out, and it looks like Jacob Brennan's day is done. And they will relieve him. A new pitcher coming in for the Scarlet Raptors. We'll wait for him to take off his hoodie, but in the meantime, we'll take a quick break. I was going to say, he can't pitch in the game with that thing on. In the top of the 8th, 9-3, Scarlet Raptors. West Deptford's own Jack Murphy making his first appearance of 2024. He appeared in 9 games last year as a junior, started 7 of them, had a rather unfavorable 5.82 ERA, and even though his batting average at the dish in his Rutgers-Camden career, which has now consisted of 5 years, starting back in 2020 before the season was cut short, he had a 4.8 ERA in 2022, but a very, very nice 2021 season with a 1.98. in 8 appearances and 5 starts. All told, that's a 4.03 career ERA, 4-6 record, 24 appearances, 18 starts, 105 innings pitched, 74 career strikeouts, 8 home runs allowed, and a, again, rather unfavorable 3.21 average against. Rutgers-Camden will be charged with a mound visit there. Like we said, our next broadcast will be Sunday, March 3rd, versus Rosemont and the Ravens. It's 11:30 and 1:30 for a 14-inning doubleheader. There is a strike. 0-1. I love the doubleheaders. You know, they're very interesting. You know, especially with Rutgers-Camden, you've got 40-ish guys on the roster, but you can't start all 9 hitters 2 games in a row. Some of them just don't have that stamina. A nice play at short, but he is out. A beautiful play at short to retire Barr. Excellent, excellent throw there by number 39. We'll be right back in the bottom of the 8th. 9-3 Rutgers-Camden. Here in the bottom of the 8th, it is Rutgers-Camden 9, Penn State-Abington 3 as the new batter, Jose Correa, will lead us off.
By Raptors at number 39, Jose Correa.
Jose Correa, who took over for Adam Aquilino and made an excellent rushing play at short to end the top of the 8th, takes the first pitch and hacks it foul. There's something that is wafting its way. You can see a big thing of something that has made its way onto the field. Luckily, it shows up on the camera, but just what is that? I don't see any. I don't know what that could be. It's just kind of passing over a little bit. That's weird. 2-1. It's just kind of made this place all hazy because it was coming from the third base line and moving in, and it was just kind of in a burst. That's very weird. 2-2. I mean, that was a big cloud. I mean, you could see it from our camera. You know, that was, I don't know what that was. 2-2. Inside, Correa jumps back a bit on the pitch from Lynch. This broadcast is brought to you by Vincent's Lawn Care. As the winter wraps up and spring comes in, get your backyard or front yard covered or anything in between from Vincent. That one's caught at third. Nice play out there. One away. Taken in by McGee. Here's going to be Uzdanovich. Outside to Uzdanovich. Augie has reached base 3 out of 4 times, popped out to third in the first, and then had 2 singles in the second and fourth respectively, and walked in the sixth. Two-0. Got a piece of it. Goes to the Penn State dugout. 2-1. If Penn State loses this game, they would fall to 0-4. Like we said, this is their last game before going back down to Florida for the Russ Matt Central Florida Invitational. Swing and a miss. 2-2. But it's not exactly going to be a confidence booster for these guys, because think about it in a way of you lost 3 in North Carolina. You came back. If you lose another one, doesn't exactly set the team up for something positive in Florida. Augie goes down on strikes. Goes down looking. 2 away. New hitter here for Rutgers-Camden. Pinch hitter number 10, Andrew Brown, the junior out of Cinnaminson. Strike 1. So 2 pinch hitters this inning. And a 6-run game in favor of Camden. One's outside, 1-1. But like we said, it's kind of a weird schedule that Penn State-Abington runs. Like we said, they played Methodist, DeSales, and Newman down in Fayetteville, North Carolina this past week. That one's going to roll down the third base line and foul. 1-2. They play Rutgers-Camden right now, and then on Sunday, by the time they get to Florida, they'll be playing Concordia University of Illinois on Sunday, Gordon College on Monday, but they'll be going back and forth between Auburndale and Davenport, Florida. Outside, 2-2. But basically, everybody and their mother is going down to Florida for spring break. Either Florida or Myrtle Beach, and these teams are playing baseball there. That ball hit the bat twice. Hit it on the backswing as well. Don't see that every day, but keeps the at-bat alive, and it's 2-2. We see sometimes, especially, it happens a lot with guys that have very short-handed swings like Hunter Pence, where the ball can hit the bat twice and send it for a weird carom because of where it was hit, especially if you hit it on the inside part of the barrel. That ball moves to the right and then hits the outside part of the barrel. That happened in I believe it was Hunter Pence who drove in 3 runs on a squibbly double in the 2012 NLCS versus the Cardinals as a member of the Giants. Ran the count full, but Andrew Brown is on board.
Technically, I'm not even really supposed to be here right now. So, might as well make the most of it.
Penn State-Abington does have a man warming in the bullpen. That is number 0, Colby Lepadic of Lancaster Catholic, the junior. Rutgers-Camden, before they leave for the Russ Matt Central Florida Invitational, they still have a litany of games to play. As we said, tomorrow's game was postponed to Sunday versus Rosemont as the first pitch. Fouled over towards the concession stand. They play Muhlenberg College on Monday the 4th at Muhlenberg. So that is their only road game before they come to Florida. And then they're at home on Thursday, March 7th versus York College. Stealing second is Andrew Brown. 0-2 after the stolen base. Stepping off. And they're going to talk this one over. If the inning were to continue, Diego Salazar would be on deck for his 5th at-bat of the game. As we said, Colby Lepadic warming up in the pen for Penn State-Abington. Oh, 2. And the pitch. Outside. 1-2. Nice breaking ball there. Chopped out to third. Picked up, and Nutley is retired. Inning over. Penn State-Abington gets out of it, and only the second inning tonight that they have not allowed a run into what could be the final frame. 9-3, Rutgers-Camden. Fallers, the first up for Penn State-Abington in the top of the 9th inning. Rutgers-Camden has been in control since the beginning. As it's 0-1 to Jake Fallers. Grounder foul. So Jack Murphy has picked up the 8th and the 9th. Has a strikeout to its name as it's 6, 7, and 8. Fallers, Margot, and Incalingo. Breaking ball misses outside. Again, this is Murphy's first appearance of the season where he had an over 5 ERA in his junior campaign. And now in his 5th year as a Scarlet Raptor. That's strike 3, outside corner. One away. And here's Margot.
Now batting for the Nittany Lions is number 34, Alex Margot.
Don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. On our Facebook, Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Our Twitter and Instagram, both handled DW Broadcasting. And if you have any questions or comments about today's broadcast, drop me a line at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. All business inquiries should also go to that email. When it's outside, 101. All of our social media handles are in the description of all of our YouTube videos if you want to reach out to us. Always a pleasure working college baseball, especially Rutgers-Camden baseball. Strike 2. Well, Murphy might make sure that we get home in a timely manner tonight. Because he's working fast and he's got a lot of strikes to his name. The 1-2 misses high, 2-2. Isn't that the start of something? You say something nice about the pace of how the pitcher's working, and then he takes a sweet old time. But I mean, hey, we are at 6:33. If this game ends quickly, it'll be just shy of the 3-hour mark. Foul, look out. That sent everybody in the fourth row flying. But it's 2-2. I mean, I did it too. Ball comes at your face. Whether the net is there or not, you are still going to react. As all humans should. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on as Rutgers-Camden looking to shut the party down. Good frame by Carbone, but it's outside. 3-2. Sometimes you got to have a little mind games as a catcher. You got to fool the umpire. You have to be a little bit of both a catcher and a little bit of a magician. Like David Copperfield. You got to trick the umpire into thinking that a ball is a strike. That's the way I see it. That is a walk to Margot. And that brings up in Kalingo. Good Donato here has reached base twice, had a single in the third. That started a rally of 4 singles in 5 at-bats during Penn State's best inning of the night, where they scored 2 in the top of the third. Nice, right down the middle. That pop of the glove, a sound like no other. It's 0-1. As we said, our next broadcast is Sunday, Rosemont and Rutgers-Camden. Sunday, 11:30 and 1:30. Strike 2 on the breaking ball. One swing could end it, or it might take a whole lot of more swings to take care of this one. Rutgers-Camden 9. They've scored in every inning except the 6th and the 8th. Penn State burned through 4 pitchers. Well outside, the ball skips from Carbone, but the runner does not go. And it's 2-2. Stay tuned after the game is over for our post-game show presented by Tommy D's Home Improvement. We're going to break out a new tradition starting tonight. Line drive to right center field. That was a rocket off the bat, as that is a base hit for Donato in Kalingo. And that puts 2 runners on and puts Murphy in a little bit of trouble trying to defend this lead.
Now batting for Nittany Lions is number 9, Eric Rollins.
So here's Eric Rollins. At the bottom of the order, he singled, lined out to left, and grounded into a 5-4-3 double play back in the 7th.
Batting for the Nittany Lions is number 99, Gabe Marrero.
Yeah, I was just going to say we had a pinch hitter, Gabe Marrero, number 99. The freshman from Harry S. Truman High School in Croydon, PA. A couple of guys on this team with high jersey numbers. Derek Aub, number 66. Mike Sakina, number 75. Back when I played travel baseball or even like Little League, the numbers were 1 through 15, and even like something in the double digits was considered a high number. Marrero fouls it back. That one went a long way. 0-2. Murphy with ducks on the pond, although the pond might have frozen over by now. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Murphy looking to escape the jam with the top of the order on deck. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Jack Murphy, as Marrero is retired off the bench, kind of in a last-ditch effort. And it's the last call. Penn State-Abington down to their final out as Murphy records his 3rd strikeout, as Sean Doherty is at the plate. First pitch, ground ball. This could do it. Nutley has it, but he cuts it off. And what a way to end it. 9-3. Rutgers-Camden wins, improving to 3-1 on the campaign as they take home their 3rd win at home. They beat Gwynedd Mercy on Tuesday. They split the doubleheader versus Immaculata in what started out as a chippy game, ended chippy only on the weather side. Penn State-Abington falls to 0-4 on the campaign as they leave tomorrow for Central Florida, where it will be a lot warmer than here. Your player of the game with 4 RBIs and 3 hits to his name is Diego Salazar, presented by Harper Driving School. We'll be right back with the postgame show presented by Tommy D's Home Improvement and more right here on DWB. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, Rutgers-Camden 9, Penn State-Abington 3. Tonight's player of the game presented by Harper Driving Schools, Diego Salazar, 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs on the day. You know, even though you're not at the top of the order, you are still a meaningful part of this team. Ethan Carpenter helped you guys out really well with those first 5 innings, but you were responsible for almost half of Rutgers-Camden's runs tonight. How did you feel you were out there tonight?
Well, first of all, thank you. So it was a good win, team win. As you say, Carpenter did a really good job. He gave us a shot, so very happy I was able to help the team. And yeah, great team win. So.
Now on defense, I mean, your infield did a great job. Nutley over at third set up a lot of double plays. Aquilino at second, or at short rather, and Vasquez over at second. You guys seem to have great camaraderie, great friendship over there, and you had a lot of tough plays that you had to take care of. Defensively, offensively, you were all over it. But your team right now, Rutgers-Camden, they're 3-1, and you guys play Rosemont on Sunday.
Yeah.
The team seems to be really, really well bonded together. Do you feel that the friendship, that the morale on the team is really good right now?
Yeah, definitely. So, you can see the connection there with everyone. So, we like each other. We play for each other. That's why we are like a team. So, we are a family. So everybody has everybody's back. So, if you make a mistake or something, I know the next guy's gonna be there for you. So, we're really happy. We have to keep working hard, and very happy for the win.
And with you guys playing Rosemont on Sunday and then a couple more games before you leave for Florida, what's next for you guys? Just keep on doing what you're doing?
Yeah, so as I said before, keep working hard, keep being a family, just be there for each other and keep working hard every day.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you, Diego. Now, we are going to start a new tradition here on DWB where the player of the game will get to sign the scorecard at the bottom. When you're done, just show that to the anywhere like in this blank space right here. Make it big for us. All right, wonderful. There you go right there. Diego Salazar, your player of the game, presented by Harper Driving School. Thank you very much,
Perfect.
Diego.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. And that's where we're going to close. 9-3 Rutgers-Camden takes home a win versus Penn State-Abington. From everybody here at Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, we're going to get out of the cold. Our social media coordinator, Anthony DePalma, our graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel and Caleb Lane, my wonderful producer for sticking it out with us tonight, Vincent Vogt. I'm Dan Wilkins. We will see you Sunday for hopefully a little bit of a warmer day with Rosemont and Rutgers-Camden. We'll see you Sunday.